Good morning. Here we are at Ladybower Reservoir, where I'm going to be doing some paddleboarding very shortly. We've come here very early because the spaces are really limited for parking where you launch. Look at this, just look at that water. Pretty scary really. It looks like you need to kind of wade in here, get into the water. Right, so I've only done one lake before, and the last time I did a lake I fell in, so this should be fun. Watch this space, eh? I learnt on a canal, and on a canal you've got that kind of safety net of everything's close by, isn't it? You can kind of see the edges. You know, and there's people walking up and down the canal, which, don't get me wrong, there is some people wandering around here. It's still quite early. But when I set off then, I thought, right, because you have to start off and go under those arches. And I thought that's not enough to build up some momentum to stand up. So I intended to go through there on my knees and then come out the other side and stand up. But then I just looked at this big lake and thought, holy crap. I've just been talking to some girls down there and they said that this route goes 10k. I mean, God, 10k. Admittedly, you don't really know how far you've gone and you don't feel it. And it's just so distracting that you haven't got a clue really how far you've gone. So I first started doing paddleboarding. We went on a girls' weekend in Wales, and there was a paddleboard there and a piece of water as well, coincidentally, and I thought, yes, I'm going to do this. Anyway, I had a right laugh. It was brilliant, although I had no idea what I was doing. And looking back, I could easily have died, but it didn't even cross my mind. And then I kept looking at it, watching people, looking at lakes and thinking, oh yes, fancy that. And then Dave bought me a paddleboard. I think it was for my birthday. Yeah, it was for my birthday. A couple of years ago now. And I thought, right, well, there's the pressure I might have needed to get going. So yeah, so I started to look at lakes and figured it might be a good idea to have some lessons actually, even because I clearly didn't know what I was doing. So this lovely lady, Debbie, she does lessons on the canal, Bridgewater Canal. And she said, you only need 3. And I thought, I bet I don't. I bet I need loads. I bet I need 15. Like my driving lessons, I don't know how many of them I had. Anyway, my first lesson I turned up. And she said, I said, I don't stand, I only kneel. She said, oh, you will, you'll be fine. You'll be standing by the end of today. I honestly was shocked, but I was. I was standing. She was brilliant. She gives me the confidence. And I suppose the other thing is when you know that somebody's there keeping an eye on you, and obviously I didn't consider the fact that her insurance relies on, you know, me being safe and blah, 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 but actually it's reassuring. It gives you the confidence to try and stand up, because here right now I don't feel unsafe, but it's not quite the same as having an instructor with you. And I haven't done it for, it must be 18 months since I've been on this paddleboard. So I've really gone all out. My first attempt as well, getting back on it. Pretty scary, it's pretty daunting. This lake is pretty daunting. So last time I paddleboarded, I was on a canal, admittedly, and much rather, you know, I'm sure the canals are minging and dirty and they do look it when you're in it, but it feels safer. I mean, even when people throw shopping trolleys in, they don't go all the way to the bottom, do they, canals? So they can't really be that deep. Got far too many clothes on as well. I'm dressed for like full-on winter or full-on falling in the water. One or the other. We're not really falling in the water though. do I do? Do I go all the way to the end? I guess that's just up to me, innit? Again, decisions. Don't know if you saw that message I sent then. Sorry to anyone who doesn't like swearing, but it is scary as this water. It's the vulnerabilities of it, isn't it? You know, when I fell in, which again, that's the issue as well, because, and this might sound a bit silly, but I've only fell in once. And falling in is what gives you the confidence to, where you realise that you know what to do, how to get out, that you can save yourself. And when I fell in, it was a big lake like this. In fact, I don't think it was quite as big as this. And I was actually on, so the irony, I booked on a water safety course because Dave was concerned. And again, he's rightly so. I suppose I'd purposely not thought about the hidden dangers of this, because I just think it's nice. I wanted the positives to outweigh the negatives. And I was like, oh, it was gorgeous. I got out on the lake and I was, you know, confident because the instructor was there, other people were there. It was a massive piece of water, and I look when we're driving around, I look at pieces of water like this and think, oh God, that's gorgeous. Get me on my paddleboard. Anyway, got to the other side of the lake. Well, not the other side, because it's not Rydal water. It's Rydal, no, something like that. I'll put it on the screen in a bit. It's quite a big piece of water, but I don't think it's as big as this. So there's like a jetty. There's a few little jetties that you can stop off at. We stopped off at the jetty. We had a bit of I think we had a brew or something, I can't recall, and then came back. And on the way back, I think I just got a bit overconfident, you know. And I was on the paddleboard, and this is the problem when you stood up. It's all right when you sat down, but when you stood up, talking, natter, it's so easy to get distracted. And I went a bit too close to these rushes. And when oh God, it was awful. And when I tried to move my paddle, I think the board just flipped. And obviously I flipped with it into the water. And I had my personal flotation device on, as they call it, life jacket. But I didn't do anything. I think I was just completely shocked that I'd actually fallen in the water. And it was bloody freezing as well. Height of summer, and it was freezing. And I fell in, and my head was bobbing above the water, and I had hold of my paddleboard, but I didn't attempt to swim. I didn't attempt to get back on it. Luckily, all these other people came, and they were like, well, we could practice this now, Kelly, if you want. I was like, oh, it's a bit embarrassing, isn't it? I'm knackered. Everything's hurting.
Is it?
Yeah, everything. My feet are like ice, so I can't actually. They don't feel cold, but when you touch them, they're like ice. I don't think I can feel them. I don't know. Yeah. But do you remember I was worried about, because you have to wade in the water when you set off?
Oh yeah, no, there's a ledge in there.
No, yeah, there is, but I did have to wade. I did have to put my feet in the water. And I was worried that would mean that my feet would be cold all the way around, and they weren't. I didn't notice them. But because of the current, there was water coming on the board anyway. So even if I do not put my feet in, up to my knees are wet on my pants because there was water coming on my board. I'm a bit disappointed though that I didn't stand up as much as I do normally, but I'd rather be back alive than dead. I wouldn't be back dead. Maybe I wouldn't. They'd rescue my body out of the lake, wouldn't they? No, I'll be honest, I think the people who run this obviously have a lot of faith in the people who are going out there.
In other people?
Yeah, because...
What do you mean in you as an individual as a paddleboarder? Or is
yeah,
it the group too?
No. in you that you're telling the truth, that you're confident and you can do this, that and the other, because the rescue boats weren't as prevalent as you would think or hope.
Yeah.
There was significant periods of time when I was out there and there was nobody, let alone, I mean, so you had people on canoes, people on kayaks, people on paddle boards, and then you had the fishermen, and then these power boats that were coming to rescue you. But like I said, when I was getting out, the current that they created, right, meant that actually I bet they get people falling in the water, and that's trying to prove that they've got worthy of a job.
Did anyone fall in?
I didn't see anyone fall in, but I didn't see a lot of people. There was some. I bet I saw 6 people paddleboarding, and 3 or 4 of them were stood up at times. There were 2 that stood up all the way around. They were really good, really confident.
Yeah.
Out there, it's vast. It's vast, and when you look at other people on paddleboards and canoes in front of you, they're like a little dot. So, you know, I don't know that anyone would see you falling in the first place. Do you know what I mean?
When I was on the bridge and I saw a dot going out into the middle of the water, I was like, is that orange? What the hell was Kelly doing out there?
And was it not me?
Yeah, it was you, yeah. He went out and then he came back to the thing, so like you say, you must have lost your bearings when you were going through
was that after I've been through the bridge?
The first viaduct, yeah.
Oh yeah, well if there's a commentary on my thing, you'll be able to hear it all. I was like, then we're coming up to the bridge and it's just round the... Oh my God, where am I? I'm lost in the lake. I was like weighing up, like there was like... Initially, it looked like there were 4 arches, because when you come around the corner, the bridge gets bigger, doesn't it? So it looked like there were 4 arches, and I was watching someone ahead of me, quite far ahead of me, go under, and I was like, I don't remember which direction I came from, so I don't know which one I'm meant to go under. But they've gone under that one, so it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, and they went under 3. I thought, right, so I'll follow them under 3. And then as the lake opened up, there was about 9 of them, and I was like, oh. But then I went through there, and then I thought, I don't know where I am, because I expected to be going through there and be back here, and I wasn't.
We need the bread doing.
Okay.
So would you come back and do it again?
Yeah, I think the bad thing about it is that really I'm just not. I don't know that I would be. It's if I fall in.
Yeah.
You know, if I was in a canal and I fell in, I wouldn't be bothered. But that out there, it's scary. It's really deep. Yeah. Really deep.
And that's my concern really, because you haven't fallen in yet, have you?
No, I have. I did fall in once.
Yeah, once.
No, I did. And it scared me. And I think in a canal, I don't think it's the same. I haven't fallen in a canal, but my fear there would be, oh God, what's in here?
Probably touch the bottom in a canal.
Like, what's all this rot in here? But
you get your foot stuck in a Tesco trolley.
Yeah, or a washing machine. But in that lake, it's a different thing, isn't it? And I think that's what happened at the other lake when I fell in. It was like, am I going to drown? Well, there wasn't even a panic. It was just like nothing. It was just like complete shock. Like,
did your life
am I
flash
going to
before your
drown
eyes?
here? No. No, it was weird. It was really weird. It was cold. I remember it being really cold and me thinking, oh my God, it's freezing. But in the depths of a lake like that, it's like, how are you going to get out? And it's that stopped me from standing up. Which is disappointing really, because part of the thing I love about it is standing up. And actually I'm hurting more because I didn't stand up, because it actually is quite, you get pins and needles in your legs. I've sat with my legs in front of me, I've been on my knees, and then I've been stood up on my knees. And I did stand up very briefly, I bet maximum 15 minutes. And I was so glad that I'd sat down when I did. I don't know why I sat down, I can't remember what my reason was, but then just after I did, one of them power boats went past and I got all these, and I was like, wow, I'm so glad I was sat down then. Panic. Because even if it doesn't send you off, the faster you're going, the less that current affects you. But even if it doesn't send you off, just seeing it sends your mind into a state of panic, like, oh, I'm going to fall off, oh no, my thing's going to tip. The reality is it's probably not.
So we're at Ladybower Reservoir, and it's next to Snake Pass, which is really noisy. Was it noisy when you were in the middle?
Yeah, do you know what's the noise? Motorbikes.
Motorbike.
You can't, the thing I really like about paddleboarding is that when you're in the middle of the lake, any noise that you hear is really distant noise. Motorbikes wasn't a distant noise, and at times I was thinking, oh no, it's another powerboat coming and I'm gonna get all these waves coming, and it was a motorbike. There were loads of motorbikes. Could you hear him?
Yeah.
It was motorbikes. No, I couldn't hear anything else, only motorbikes, which is a shame really. And I get, you know, people who have motorbikes, that's their enjoyment, isn't it? But it breaches my peace in the middle of that lake.
Whoa. There you go, there's one.
I had to switch around, otherwise what would have happened?
I was going for the other plate.
Have you been waiting for this? Oh, I can't reach that picture. So I'm back, I'm safe. I don't know if I'm cold or if I'm warm, I'm not really sure. But I'm going to eat this bacon butty and have a nice brew and chill out for a little while. Might even have an afternoon nap. Thanks for watching us. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. We really appreciate your support. See you again next time. Bye!